OppLoans did a study that said that 73% of Americans do not budget. Bankrate's study concluded that 50% of Americans could not cover a $1,000 emergency bill without taking out a loan. And a survey conducted by Lending Club said that 36% of people who make at least $250,000 a year are living paycheck to paycheck. It all comes down to money management, comes down to budgeting. Most people they don't budget. Most people don't budget. Most people don't understand money management. It's not taught in schools, unfortunately. Schools teach calculus because the school system thinks that calculus is more important than money management. Families don't teach it because they weren't taught that. And it's this vicious cycle of lack of money management. Most people don't understand just how important it is to learn how to manage your money, and they think that if they make more money is going to solve their problems. Well, think about this. How many people won the lottery and ended up broke? How many people won millions and millions of dollars and still went bankrupt? How many people got NFL contracts, NBA contracts, made millions a year and still went broke? Doesn't matter how much money you make, if you don't know how to manage that money, it's not gonna make a difference. You're gonna end up in the same place anyways. I am no financial expert by any means, but I did learn over the years how to manage my money properly, because back then I did have that problem where I didn't know how to budget. I couldn't manage my money and ended up with some serious financial issues. But like I said, over the years I learned some tricks and learn how to manage my money. By the way, this is not financial advice. This is just how I manage my money. Without further ado, here are 5 ways on how to manage money. First is putting my money in an emergency savings account. That is my number 1 priority. So what I do is when I first get paid, first thing in the morning, before I pay my bills, before I buy anything, the very first thing I do is I automatically put 10% into my emergency savings account. And my goal is to have at least 6 months to a year of expenses saved up. God forbid something happens, I want to be covered. I want to know that, let's say my engine goes out, transmission goes out, I get some kind of medical issue, I get a high medical bill, whatever the case may be. That's the thing with life. Life happens. You don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know when it's gonna happen. But it's nice to know that you're gonna have a emergency savings account. 50% of Americans could not cover a $1,000 emergency bill without taking out a loan, and that's a scary statistic. That's a scary thought. Here's a fun little fact. Rich people tend to live longer than poor people, and it's not because rich people have better access to healthcare or better access to more healthier foods. It's simply because rich people don't deal with the chronic stress that poor people do. Poor people deal with the chronic stress because of, they can't pay their rent, they can't pay their mortgage, they can't put food on the table, car goes out, now they don't have a car to go to work, and it's just this constant chronic stress. And a lot of people don't realize that chronic stress leads to a physical illness. It will manifest into a physical problem and would affect your longevity in life. But knowing that you have at least 6 months to a year of expenses saved up, maybe even more, just knowing you have that in the bank really relieves a lot of that chronic stress. A lot of the chronic stress going on today is financial reasons. Most people they can't afford to live. A couple of years ago, I had a 2005 Mustang GT, and the engine suddenly went out, and the bill was like $3,000 something. I didn't have money to cover it, and it just caused me so much stress because now I work like 30 miles away from my house, and I have to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I had to walk 4 miles to the bus stop, take the bus, take a train, take another bus, just to get to work on time. And had I had that emergency fund, had that money, I could have just bought another engine or just bought another car. But because I wasn't smart with my money and I didn't have that emergency fund, I kind of got screwed there. I put away 10% because that's how much that I can afford to put away. After I pay all my bills and buy other things that I buy, I can safely put away 10% and not worry about having to dig into my savings account just to pay for bills. Now, it's different for everybody. Some people may not be able to put 10%. Maybe some of you can put more. Some of you can only put less. But at least keep it a habit of putting something towards your emergency savings account, because that is paramount. That is absolutely crucial. I believe everybody should have a emergency savings account. Keep in mind that the less you put in, the longer it's gonna take to reach that 6 months to a year goal. In that case, you can lower some expenses, but also think about trying to increase your income as well. But before I do anything else with my paycheck, the very first thing I do is put away 10% in my emergency savings account. Number 2, I put money away towards investing. My 401k is automatically deducted. I have it set at 4%. That's how much the company matches. and then I put another 6% into my Roth IRA. After I get paid and I put the 10% into my emergency savings account, second thing I do is I put 6% into my Roth IRA, and I have a total of 10% that goes into investing. Investing is super important, super crucial, and unfortunately, a lot of people, they just don't understand the importance of investing. Schools don't teach them about investing. Their families don't teach them because their families didn't learn from their schools, and it's just this vicious cycle. And unfortunately, a lot of people go on about life and not investing at all into their future. There was a really interesting study that I saw, and it had a group of people. They wanted to do a brain scan or brain imaging, and they had them think about their present self as well as their future self, like 10-20 years into the future. And they also had them think about a stranger in the present sense and that same stranger in the future sense. When they thought about themselves in the present sense, their brains lit up. When they thought about a stranger, their brains didn't light up at all. And when they thought about the stranger in the future, same thing, their brains didn't light up. But the interesting part is when they thought about their future self, their brains did not light up either. There's this disconnect between their present self and their future self. The researchers concluded that it's very difficult for a lot of people psychologically to identify themselves with their future self. It's almost like they're thinking about a stranger when they think about their future self. And because of that disconnect, it's really hard for people to think about their future and think about that retirement and think about saving for retirement. I used to be one of those people. Back then, I didn't really care for retirement. For me, that was like 100 years into the future, and it just wasn't in my mind. But after reading some statistics and seeing what goes on with a lot of people, it really scared me, and I started taking investing very seriously. It's a lot of money you put away, month after month, year after year, and it's money that you can't touch. But it's nice to know that in the future, you're gonna be covered. Unfortunately, a lot of people reach the age of retirement and they don't have nothing saved up, and they have to keep on working. And unfortunately, a lot of people that have health issues and working is really difficult for them, but they still have to work just to make a living, just to sustain themselves. Had those people invested into their future earlier on, they could have retired and not worry about having those issues, but unfortunately they didn't. And I don't want that to happen to me. So that's why, I'm still a young guy, but I take that very seriously, and I put away I put away 10%. If I can, I put more. But investing is something very crucial to me, and I factor that into my money management. Number 3, I have a budget. A couple of years ago, I had this coworker that he will buy lunch every single day. Literally every single day. He never brought lunch to work, ever. Monday through Friday, he bought lunch. And he bought breakfast as well. But at lunch, I asked him one day how much he spends for lunch, and it was, I think he said like 12, 13 bucks. But you know what? I'm gonna round it off to $10, right? So let's say he spent $10 Monday through Friday for lunch. That's $200 a month. And then you factor in breakfast. For breakfast, he went to his cafeteria, and let's say 10 bucks as well. So now between breakfast and lunch, he's at $400 a month, Monday through Friday. And of course, dinner. After work, you gotta eat. You get hungry, right? Let's say another 10 bucks. Now you're at $600 a month for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, Monday through Friday. That's not even including Saturday and Sunday. So one day he prints out his bank statement because he was kind of curious how much he was spending a month on food. So, we went over his bank statement, and no lie, no exaggeration, he was spending over $1,000 a month for breakfast, lunch, and dinner a month. Just him, right? That's not including his wife, just him. And that is staggering. That's insane. I spend less than $500 a month for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for myself and my fiance. Less than $500. Keep in mind that I'm a little bit bigger than the average guy. I work out a lot. I got some muscle mass on me, so I have to consume more food than the average person. And even then, I still spend less at the grocery store. When you have a budget, you have to be very creative on how you spend your money. You have to be very selective in how you spend your money. So when I go grocery shopping, and my budget is like $120 a week, and when you have $120 budget a week, what I do is I think about, ask myself, is this gonna help me maintain my muscle, build muscle, and is it healthy for me? If it doesn't fall into that criteria, I don't buy it. The amount of people who told me that it's cheaper to eat out than it is to go grocery shopping, it's insane. Like, I want to ask them, what are you spending your money on in the grocery store? There's no way that it's cheaper to eat outside. There's no way that it's more economical to spend over $1,000 a month eating out, when a person like me is spending less than $500 for my fiance and I. So a lot of people were showing me what their grocery list is like, and they have so much junk food on there. I'm talking about juices, cookies, all these snacks, all these processed foods. I'm like, dude, why you buying that? First, that's insanely expensive, and two, that is super unhealthy for you. Not to mention, that's gonna drive up your doctor's bill, because eventually that's gonna make you sick, and all those co-payments are gonna add up. Like, I haven't been to the doctor in I don't know how long, because I don't get sick, because I take care of myself, because I'm very selective of what I put in my body. Do I have cheat meals? Absolutely, but generally speaking, I take care of my body, and it's very cost effective to eat healthy. Like I said, I spend less than $500 a month for 2 people, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Second thing, I have a subscription budget. You know, my budget is $100 a month on subscription services. You know, that includes, you know, whether it be a streaming service, Adobe, or gym membership, or whatever the case may be. But I have a $100 budget, and if it exceeds that, I start thinking about the stuff that I don't use, and I cut it out. If I'm not using it, what's the point of having it? So, and like I said, having a budget really helps you think about what do you spend your money on. Because if you don't have a budget, you're just gonna start spending money on a bunch of junk. A lot of people are subscribed to everything under the sun. They got Hulu, HBO Max, Netflix, Paramount Plus, Disney Plus, and a lot of times they're not even utilizing that. But when you have a budget, you're kind of forced to think about what are you using, what are you not using, what do you need, what you don't need. So, you know, part of money management for me, how I manage my money, is I have a budget. And that's a very crucial part to my money management. I even have a budget for date night, because every week my fiance and I, we try to go out, maybe go to the movies or a restaurant, but we have a budget. Sometimes we just like to go to what's it called, Cold Stone. It's an ice cream shop. Sometimes we like to do that, but I try to have a budget just for going out, because you know what, you have to enjoy life. Let's be honest, you know, we want to save money, we want to, you know, be frugal with our money, but at the same time we got to enjoy life too. But, you know, be responsible about it. Have a budget that's going to help you out a lot, trust me. Number 4, I reconsider what I buy. I want to start this one off by talking about this really funny prank that Payless Shoe Store had did a couple of years ago. And they opened up this store. They didn't call it Payless Shoe Store, they called it something else. But they remodeled the inside, and it made it look like a luxury brand, something comparable to like Gucci or Louis Vuitton. But they were displaying Payless shoes, so it ended up calling over some influencers to come check it out, some fashion influencers, and, you know, check out the shoes, check out the store. And they told them that, hey, this is a luxury brand, these are high quality shoes worth like $600-800. And these fashion influencers have these shoes in their hand, completely oblivious to the fact that they're holding $30 Payless shoes, and they're saying, "Oh yeah, this is very, very high quality, very premium material. I would definitely spend $800 on these." Again, completely oblivious to the fact that they're holding $30 Payless shoes in their hand. They ended up buying these shoes for these premium price tags, and then after that, after it was all said and done, Payless let them in on a prank and told them, "Hey, by the way, these are actually Payless shoes." Got it. The look on their face was absolutely priceless. I'm just curious what happened to their reputation, because they're supposed to be fashion influencers, supposed to be experts, and they couldn't even tell the difference between a $30 Payless shoe and an $800 luxury shoe. That just goes to show you, man, that a lot of times you're not really paying for the premium product, you're just paying for the name. Let's talk about this absurd car market we're living in right now. This, you know, $100,000 for an F-150, $110,000 for a Nissan SUV. I mean, come on. You factor in these crazy car prices, you factor in these sky-high interest rates and taxes, and you have an absurd, astronomical car payment. But you'd be surprised how many people are spending north of $1,000 for a car that's essentially a depreciating asset. I'm a car guy. I love cars. I absolutely love cars. I'm infatuated with cars. You know, I drive a 2017 Nissan Sentra SR Turbo. It's dropped on BC Racing coilovers, 18 by 9.5 ESR wheels. I got a catback exhaust from Neyland Performance. I mean, dude, I love cars. But I will not spend over $1,000 on a car payment. That's for damn sure. There's cars out there that, you know, make me happy. Don't get me wrong. You know, cars that I wish I had, but at the end of the day, I just can't afford them. If you got the money, you got the money. That's all fine and dandy. But if you live in paycheck to paycheck, you got no business spending north of $1,000 on a car that's a depreciating asset. I would love to get a Corvette C7 Z06, way out of my price range, but there's one thing I do is that, you know, I have a side hustle, and the money I make from that, I put that towards my a separate account just for that car. I don't buy that many things for myself, but when I do, I really consider, why am I buying it? Am I buying it because I actually like the product, it's gonna make me happy, or am I buying it because I'm trying to impress somebody? Another thing I consider is that, can it wait? Do I need it right now at this point in time, or can it wait? The cool thing about waiting is that sometimes these brands, they put stuff on sale, and they put stuff on sale a lot. And it's worth the money. A lot of these brands, they do have quality products. They do have quality material, quality craftsmanship, but the issue lies with the astronomical asking price that comes from the name. Not so much the quality of the product, but the name. You may have a luxury purse that retails for like $3,000, but it's really worth $600, and it's great quality, don't get me wrong, great craftsmanship, but it's not worth $3,000. But that $3,000 price tag, it comes from the name. But sometimes if you wait, you can get out a really good deal. Some brands, honestly, I've never seen Gucci go on sale. But other things, they do go on sale, and if you're patient enough when you wait, you might catch a really good deal. The car market, I'm not sure when it's gonna drop. I know a lot of dealerships are struggling real bad to sell cars, and they might have no choice but to drop their prices, but you still got the issue with the interest rates. But like I said, if you wait, if you're patient and you don't need a car right now, you can probably get a really good deal later on. Just be patient and look around. But again, really reconsider why you buy certain these things, and just be patient. You'd be surprised how much money you can save if you just think about what you buy and if you're patient. 5, I transfer leftover money into a separate savings account. For example, let's say I get paid today. I transfer money into my emergency savings account. I transfer money into my investing account, pay my bills, go grocery shopping, put gas in my car, take care of everything financially that I have to take care of. Whatever's left over, let's say it's $200. Those $200, that's for me to play with. That's for me to do whatever I want. Everything financially is already taken care of. I can either A, spend those $200 and buy something I want, or B, just keep saving money into that account paycheck after paycheck and get something bigger, get something better. If I'm saving for something specific, I'll just keep saving up, or just spend a percentage of that account and just keep saving up for something specific. But that's how I handle buying stuff that I want. One of the issues I see a lot of people do is that when they get paid, instead of taking care of their priorities first, they just go straight to the mall and buy stuff, and then when it comes time to pay the bills, they got nothing left. They either end up taking money from their savings account, or put it on a credit card, or take out a loan. But it's just that's the way that a lot of people get into trouble. I make sure that I take care of my priorities first, and that's taken care of. Whatever's left over, that's for me to play with. That's one of the reasons why I have a budget for certain things, so I make sure that I don't overspend, and I make sure I have more money at the end for me to play with. Those are my 5 ways to manage money. There's one thing I wanted to mention, is that there's a limit to how much money you can save, and there's a limit to how much money you can cut back on expenses before it starts to erode your quality of life, right? Like, there's a limit to how much you can save, but there's no limit to how much money you can make. Try to find another job that pays more, or try to get a promotion or a raise at your current job to make more money, or you can start a side hustle or get a second job, or maybe if you're able to start a business. But the goal should be raising your income, because like I said, there's a limit to how much money you can save and cut back on expenses, but there's no limit to how much money you can make. Understand that you only live once. You only got one shot in life, and I really want you to live life to the fullest and enjoy everything life has to offer. I want to enjoy life. I want to enjoy everything life has to offer. There's so many things I want to buy, so many things I want to experience before I die. But in order to do that, we have to have these financial principles in place in order to be smart with the money and enjoy life. I don't remember where I heard this quote. I heard it somewhere, or I read it somewhere. This is many, many years ago. But somewhere along the lines of, at the end of your feelings is nothing, but at the end of every principle is a promise. I put a huge emphasis on having principles and money management, because I know it's going to take me very far in life, but if I operate strictly off my emotions, it's going to lead to a dead end. There's nothing there. Understand that more money is not going to solve the problem if money management is the problem. How many people won the lottery and ended up broke? How many athletes got $1 million contract, won millions of dollars a year, and they ended up broke and bankrupt? They got millions of dollars, but they still ended up broke because they didn't have money management skills. More money will not solve the problem if money management is the problem. Thank you guys for watching. I truly appreciate it. I really hope that this video brought you value, and I hope it got you to open up about money management, and I hope it got you to open up about different ideas when it comes to money, and I hope you understand just how important money management is in life. If you liked the video, please like it, subscribe, share it. I truly appreciate it, and like I said, I hope it brought value to your life. Until next time, see you later, and take care.